What are some legacy implications of this Champions League final? Man. There's some huge ones in my opinion. This is gonna do this performance, this result is gonna affect the potential winner of the Ballon d'Or this season. I can guarantee that. Especially, obviously, the summer international tournaments, the European Championship, Copa America, also can have huge implications. I'm not denying that. But this game, this Champions League final, this also will have huge implications, as I've shown in some of these past winners, and implications regarding the manager, Carlo Ancelotti. Carlo Ancelotti is a manager that doesn't really get discussed in these GOAT manager debates. You don't really see him discussed amongst some of the top managers. You see a lot of Pep Guardiola, Jose Mourinho, things like that. But Carlo Ancelotti is somebody that's went under the radar. But if you look at his CV, it is absolutely phenomenal. What he's done in multiple leagues, in multiple leagues, is sensational. What he did at Juventus, AC Milan, Chelsea, PSG, Madrid, Bayern, and back now in Madrid again. It's been phenomenal, and he's a manager that he's shown his ability to adapt. Early in his career, he talked about how he had players like Roberto Baggio who didn't really fit the system, and he just let him go. And as he got more experience, as he went on, he started to adapt to the players that he had. The style of play that we see this Real Madrid play compared to, let's say, the first team he managed at Regina or Parma, it's completely different style of plays. He has adapted as a manager. He's a player's coach. All his former players, all players, nobody has anything negative to say about Carlo Ancelotti. They all love him. He's always been a class act. He's a manager that has so much aura on the sideline watching the game. It's just phenomenal manager. Won La Liga, won Serie A's, won League Ones, won at Champions Leagues with multiple clubs, winning 3 with Real, or winning 2 with AC Milan, and winning 3 at Real Madrid, 5 Champions Leagues. Phenomenal achievement. He was the manager of the Real Madrid that ended up getting La Decima after having a drought of not winning the Champions League. He has a lot on his resume, and it's surprising to me, and maybe this Champions League is what might change it, but it's surprising to me that he doesn't really get into the talks of a Mourinho, of a Pep, and all that. Now, I think that one thing is, though, I think of these last 3 years of this Real Madrid team played a style of football that was more appealing, like they played like a Manchester City or something. I think he would get a little bit more credit. But for me, at the end of the day, what matters is the results. And winning 2 Champions Leagues in the last 3, or winning 3 Champions Leagues in the last 10 years, that's a remarkable achievement for a manager. And there's not many managers that can say that they have accomplished such things, in my opinion. He's a brilliant manager, managing his players, dealing with experience, dealing with stars, dealing with egos. You never see falling out within the team. You never see him falling out. In the press conference, he's always relaxed, composed. He showed his ability to defend his players from racism, like what he did for Vinicius. He gets everything correct. You've never looked at a situation and say he botched it. You never say he got out coached in a game. He never got out coached in a game. He's just a brilliant manager. He's won Champions Leagues as a player. He's won Champions Leagues as a manager. And I think it's time to discuss him more in the upper echelon of managers. Now, with players like Toni Kroos, Luka Modric, oh my goodness, their resumes are crazy because of what they've done at Real Madrid. Toni Kroos has won 5 Champions League titles at Real Madrid. At Real Madrid, 2016, 17, 18, 22, 24. He also won that one at Bayern in 2013. But he's won 5 Champions Leagues at Real Madrid and won 4 La Liga titles. And that's how his club career is. Just phenomenal. That's just incredible. That's just incredible. Luka Modric, he's won 6 Champions Leagues with Madrid alone. Toni Kroos has 6 as well, but he has one with Bayern. Luka Modric was on the La Decima team. He's won 6 Champions League titles with Real Madrid. And those 6 are within the last 10 years. Incredible. Incredible. These are players that have won as much Champions League. Luka Modric, he has won. Toni Kroos as well, but he did it with a different one. But listen, both of them, Luka Modric and Toni Kroos, they have won more Champions Leagues than any club in football besides AC Milan, who has 7, and obviously Madrid themselves. But everybody below the second place team, Milan, Luka Modric and Toni Kroos on their own have more Champions Leagues than every other club in the history of football. That's incredible. These players are winners. These players can get, they can get dominated throughout games, but they're still in it because of the winning mentality that they have. Vinicius Jr., he's continuing to grow a case based on what he did this season. He honestly is the best player in the world, and I think he deserves to have that best player in the world. He has been playing better than Mbappe in bigger games as well. And he has a real shot at a Ballon d'Or if he can go into Brazil and win the Copa America and bring that back for Brazil, a Brazil team that's really generally within these last year or so have really been struggling post that 2022 World Cup. I think it's going to be basically impossible to pry that Champions League, that Ballon d'Or from him. For me, it's going to be impossible to pry that Ballon d'Or from Vinicius Jr. You also have a real possibility for a guy like Toni Kroos to win it, based on what he did. Obviously, this ending his career, what he did with Real Madrid. Career don't matter, but just based on this year, being that connector, being that composure midfield. And also, I think the big storyline is if he can go into Germany and he can bring back German football, the heights, because, Germany, he's going to be looked at. If Germany make this comeback and win the Euros, when did this real comeback from how they've been suffering over the past few years start? It started when they implement Toni Kroos back in, and they immediately go on to defeat France, and then they beat the Netherlands. That's when it started, when Toni Kroos came back into the national team. His ability to calm that midfield, make it more balanced, playing alongside Gundogan. What if he goes and wins the European Championships with Germany? On top of that, he's going to be looked at as the person that brought it home, because he's the one, when he came in, he's the one that, it's with him that this, it changed the set of direction for this German national team change. I think he has a real possibility. Now, I think a slight possibility is also Jude Bellingham, based on the amount of goals he had for Real Madrid this season. Didn't have the best of finals, but just based on general this season, the ridiculous amount of goals, playing it in a midfield role, and with the likes of, and now if he brings back the European Championship for England. But in my opinion, this is a little bit more outside of one, and I think he'd really have to have a very strong Euros. It has to be the best player for the Euros for England, has to be the clear, and they have to win it. I think that is the way. But Jude Bellingham wins it, but he definitely has an outside shot too as well. So there's a lot of implications from this Champions League.